What up, guys? This is Cheevo Guides back here again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on episode 9 of Classic Completions, specifically Fight Night Round 3. If you're not familiar with Classic Completions quite yet, it's a series that I started on my channel where we're going to be focusing on achievement guides for old Xbox 360 games. It could be full releases, or it could even be Xbox Live Arcade games that may only be worth 200 or 400 gamer score. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on a full retail release. It actually released a few months after the Xbox 360 launched, and that is Fight Night Round 3. Luckily, this is a super easy completion. If you know what you're doing, it only takes about 3 to 4 hours long, and all you got to do is make your way through the career mode and make sure that you win all of the important fights, and pretty much all of the achievements are going to come along the way. So this is one of those games that you can simply just run through the game, enjoy the story mode, and eventually you're going to end up with 1000 gamer score. Again, as long as you know what you're doing and you use some easy cheese methods, you should be able to get the full 1000 G in just about 3 to 4 hours. Now, Fight Night Round 3 wasn't quite a launch title, however, it released fairly close to launch just a few months after the Xbox 360 launched, and it was one of the first 1000 Gs that I had on my original Xbox profile, and that was mostly due to the fact that all of the achievements are simply related to the career mode. So all you gotta do is make your way through the career mode, and you're going to unlock all of the achievements. Do keep in mind that if you're playing any of the fights that have an achievement related to them and you happen to lose that fight, you may not be able to play that fight again unless you restart the career mode. So my first tip for getting this completion is make sure that you turn off the autosave, turn on manual saving. That way you can manually save before any important fights, and if for some reason, God forbid, you lose a fight, you can basically load up your save and play it over again. That way you don't miss any achievements. Aside from that, if you were actually playing the game regular and trying to, box your way through this game, it's probably going to take you about 5 to 6 hours. However, if you use the illegal blow method, or you use the power haymaker that I'm going to show you in this video, you can make your way through the career a lot faster. I'm talking about 3 to 4 hours, even if you've never touched this game before. So, how long is it going to take to get the 1000 G in this classic completion? Well, it's simply going to take about 3 to 4 hours, as long as you follow the tips in this video. Now, this game actually just became quite special to me because this is the game that I used to reach 500,000 gamer score. If you want to see the live stream where I played Fight Night Round 3 to get the 1000 G and 500k on the dot, make sure you guys check out that video. I'll link it down in the description below. But in this video, I'm simply going to be making an achievement guide for Fight Night Round 3, just in case you decide to pick up a copy and stick it in your Xbox 360. Yeah, you heard that right. So this game is not backwards compatible, meaning that you would actually need to play it on an Xbox 360. Luckily, there's two ways that you can do that. You can either find an old copy of the game, simply stick it in the Xbox 360 like I did. Unfortunately, I don't have the case for it or anything like that. I simply have Fight Night Round 3 in a generic GameStop case, but that did the job for me. So if you don't have that actual disc, there's another option. Luckily, this game, oddly enough, is still listed for sale digitally. So if you have an Xbox 360, you can purchase the digital version for $19.99. So either the digital version for 20 bucks, or maybe find a used copy anywhere from like 5 to 15 bucks, I think is the average price for this game. Let's go ahead and take a look at trueachievements.com. They say that roughly 89,000 people have played this game, and about 57,000 of them have gotten the full 1000 G. That's crazy. 57,000 people have got the full 1000 G in this game. That shows how easy it is to get the 1000 G. If you're looking for an easy completion on an old Xbox 360 game, this is definitely a good place to start. So yeah, roughly about 64% of people that have played this game have completed it. That's a really high completion percentage, especially for a game that over 80,000 people have played. Now, the game only has 8 achievements, and they're all either worth 100 or 150 gamer score. So, this is going to be very easy to get the 1000 G. Now, before we get started, I'd like to give a huge shout out to MANSCAPED.com for sponsoring this video. Now, they went ahead and hooked me up with a bunch of stuff and sent me the perfect package 4.0. If you're a dude, you may have seen ads for MANSCAPED.com before. They're a global brand for men's hygiene and grooming products. First thing to highlight in the perfect package kit is the new Lawnmower 4.0. These are Manscaped's 4th generation electric trimmer or clippers. Not only that, but they're waterproof and have advanced skin-safe technology. These trimmers are definitely different. They feature a ceramic blade that you can change out. On top of that, they have an LED light if you're trying to trim in dark areas. These trimmers also feature a super smart charging system with a wireless charging dock. So these trimmers have a ton of benefits. They're wireless, they have a charging dock, they're waterproof, and they have ceramic blades that you can change out. For a limited time, you can get all this plus 2 free gifts, the Shed travel bag, as well as the Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs. So go to manscaped.com where you can get 20% off your order plus free international shipping and the 2 free gifts that I mentioned earlier as long as you use the coupon code Cheevo Guides. That's Cheevo Guides, no space in between, at checkout. Again, thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive into it. First thing we need to do is go down to the options and we're going to adjust a few settings in our favor in effort to make it a quicker completion, hopefully around the 3 to 3.5 hour range. We're going to start off by going to the gameplay settings. After that, go ahead and change the difficulty to easy. Then next we want to go down to autosave and turn that off. Go down to illegal blows and turn that off. Go to 3 knockout rule and turn that on. After that, go to auto recovery and turn that on as well. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and turn the HUD on. Alright, now that we're all set up for success, we're going to go back to the main menu and we're going to dive into career mode. Now, as I mentioned earlier, all of the achievements in this game are related to the career mode, so we simply need to progress far enough to unlock all of the career mode related achievements. Now we're going to start off by creating our own character. I'm going to go ahead and name my boxer Cheevo Guides. After that, go to the next tab, and the only thing I changed is the base style. I changed it to power. Then I went ahead and went to the next tab. Don't really need to change anything here. Now, when you get to the physique, we're going to go ahead and change it to light heavyweight. At least that's how I got my 1000G. Alright, so for height, I went ahead and maxed it out at 6'4", and then on the weight chart, I went ahead and put it all the way on the upper right hand corner at 190 pounds. After that, you can adjust any features on the head if you want. I went ahead and changed the hairstyle a bit. Aside from that, go to the final tab, and you basically want to max out the first 4 at 30%, and then the next 4 at 20%. And that's going to use all of your points. So again, the top 4 stats, power, speed, agility, and stamina, do 30%, and then for the bottom 4, do 20%. Aside from that, we need to do one last thing before we dive into the actual matches themselves. Go ahead and go to the fight store once you get to the career menu. From here, you want to go all the way to the illegal head punches tab and make sure to purchase the elbow shot. This is a little bit better than the headbutt just because it has a little more distance. Next, go to the illegal body punches and go ahead and purchase the knee. Out of all of the illegal throws or illegal moves, I'd say that this one has the most distance. So if you want to use the illegal throw method or the illegal move method, I recommend using knees and elbows, as out of all the illegal moves, those have the best reach. Aside from that, to start off a fight, what you need to do first is sign the contract, and then we need to train, and then you can finally actually play the match. Typically, you'll have anywhere between 1 to 3 options in terms of which fight you want to select or which contract you want to sign. Typically, I recommend the one that has any benefits like an extra popularity boost or something like that. However, if there's not any boost for the fight, I recommend just picking the one that pays you the most. Now, after you sign a contract for a fight, you're going to have to train for that fight. So go ahead and select train. After that, it's going to give you an option to select from 3 different trainers. The first trainer is always free, and you're going to have to pay for the other 2 trainers. Now, I gotta say, I went ahead and picked the free trainer throughout the whole career mode and got my 1000G, so don't feel like you need to pay for those extra trainers. You can get by using the free trainer pretty much the whole time. Aside from that, you can also use the auto train method, where basically you can just press auto train. You're not going to get the maximum amount of stats available in that mini game or training game. However, you'll get enough to be able to keep increasing the stats on your character, and you'll be able to make your way through the whole game. So in terms of training, I recommend choosing the free trainer, and on top of that, I recommend just pressing auto train and saving yourself the time, because if you play all of those mini games every time you have to train, it's definitely going to lengthen the completion and you're not going to be able to get the 1000 G in under 4 hours. So we talked about signing contracts and we talked about training, specifically auto training. Next, I want to talk about how to knock out your opponent nearly right away, either using a power haymaker or an illegal blow. Right here, you just see me knock out my opponent nearly right away using a power haymaker. So, how do you do this? Well, there's a one-shot punch that you can basically phase your enemy right away. All you gotta do is a reverse uppercut and then uppercut in that same direction. On top of that, you wanna be holding LB. It's gonna look something like this. Again, reverse uppercut and then uppercut. If you do that motion fairly quickly while holding LB, you'll throw a power haymaker, and if it lands, you're going to phase your enemy right away, and all you got to do is land one more punch or illegal blow, and that will send them to the floor and potentially knock them out for good. So yeah, this is the power haymaker method. I gotta say, as much as it's really cool to knock them out nearly right away, and sometimes even faster than the illegal blow method, unfortunately it really does leave you open for a counter. It takes a ton of stamina, and it's also really slow. So there's definitely some downsides to using that power haymaker method. Aside from that, really the easiest way for you to cheese through this 1000 G is to just throw illegal blows the whole time. You can literally just keep throwing knees, keep kneeing your opponent in the nuts until they're knocked out. At that point, they have 10 seconds to get back up. Typically, you'll see them get up at least one time, sometimes 2 or 3 times. Just know that we activated the 3 knockout rule, so at most you only need to knock them out 3 times. You can simply just keep throwing knees and elbows until you knock out your opponent. You won't get disqualified or anything like that. You will hear the ref talk some crap saying, hey, this is going to go against your record, or it's going to make you look like a bad fighter, or they might potentially disqualify you, but they won't actually do it based off of the settings that we set up. So you are allowed to throw as many illegal blows as you want in this career mode, and you can basically just make your way through the fights really quick using any of these methods. So personally, I kind of just combined both. I basically just, signed my contract, did the auto train, and once I was in a fight, I would try throwing a few power haymakers, and if I wasn't landing them, or if I was, facing an opponent that was constantly backing up, I would press forward and I would just start throwing knees and elbows until I knocked them out. And eventually you can get a lot of your wins that way. And basically you're going to rinse and repeat these methods until you make your way far enough in the career where you get to the Everlast sponsored event. That's going to be the last fight that has an achievement related to it. Basically the way it works is when you're at the career main menu, you're going to see a popularity meter. Once that popularity meter fills, you'll have your next main event. Typically these main events have an achievement related to them. So if you're playing any of these main events, or like a Wednesday night ESPN fight, or a ESPN pay-per-view fight, you want to make sure that you save your game beforehand. Because again, we didn't activate autosave. The reason that we didn't activate autosave was because for some reason, if you lose a big fight, unfortunately, there's no way to redo that. You would have to start the career mode all over again. And the last thing you want to do is lose a big fight and then have it autosave on you. So that's why we went ahead and activated the manual saving so that we can go ahead and save our game manually before any big fights. And if for any reason, if we lose, we can simply load up that game save again and try it over again. And then, obviously win the fight and get the achievement and be able to proceed further. Alright guys, so as I mentioned before, we have 8 achievements total. A lot of them are related to the sponsored events. Again, to get to a sponsored event, you need to fill your popularity meter, and then you'll be able to play that sponsored or main event. The sponsored events that have achievements include the Under Armour event, the Dodge event, the EA Sports event, the Burger King event, and then finally, the last one that you'll need is the Everlast event. Aside from that, we also have achievements related to winning an ESPN Wednesday night fight, a ESPN Friday night fight, and then an ESPN pay-per-view fight. So these 3 achievements aren't tied to any main event. Now, those 3 fights are not main events. Those are simply going to pop up randomly through the career mode. So just make sure that while you're selecting your contracts, that if you see any Wednesday night fights, Friday night fights, or an ESPN pay-per-view fight, that you make sure that you select it. And then of course, as I mentioned earlier, make sure to do a manual save before you play any of these fights, just in case, God forbid, you lose the fight. But yeah, the Everlast event is going to be the last event or achievement that you get in this game. If you're wondering how long it takes to fill the popularity meter, Typically, it would take anywhere from like 4 to 6 matches, depending on if any of them had a popularity boost. So yeah, guys, next we're going to dive into the end of the clip from the 500 gamer score live stream, so that you guys can see when I got my final achievement in this game. That's the final fight that's going to basically fill up the popularity meter, and now I should be able to access the Everlast main event, which is tied to our final achievement in the game. So we're gonna go to sign contract. There it is. This is a fight that has our final achievement related to it. But before I go ahead and dive into this final fight, which is going to get me to the glorious 500,000 gamer score, I'm gonna go ahead and save my game. Because the last thing I want is to lose this fight and have to play the whole career mode over again. So I'm gonna save my game before I enter this fight, just in case, God forbid, I lose this fight. I can go ahead and load up this save. Like a smart achievement hunter. Save your game. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and sign the contract now that our game is saved. And there it is. Sign the contract. We have to train. Again, if you weren't tuned in earlier, you can go ahead and pick the free trainer, the whole career mode, and just make sure that you're mixing up the different trainings. You can auto train. You don't need to actually play the mini games. It's only going to lengthen your completion. So auto train, and we're going to go ahead and start up the final fight. We're about to get 1000 G in Fight Night Round 3, guys. A launch title on the Xbox 360. All of the final achievement after this fight, and we'll be at 500,000 gamer score. Yep, look. 900 out of 1000 G, let's do it. Oh, great. Has another drama scene. He's gonna try to fight me at the weigh-in. Unfortunately, you can only block here, I think. I don't think it actually lets you throw punches, so I'm just gonna go ahead and block. He can go ahead and, you know, vent. Or do whatever he's doing, show off in front of the audience. I'm just waiting for the real fight so I can knock this dude out. I'm pretty confident you can't knock him out right here, or he can't knock you out. It's just like a drama sequence. Hype up the fight. Here we go. Final fight of Fight Night Round 3. Should I try to do it legit? You should fight this guy.
The Beast will likely be able to bounce back, even though
alright, let's try to knock this dude out legit. If it gets bad, I'll start kneeing him. But I'm trying to get these one-shot phasers on him. There we go. Bow. Damn. Alright, got him legit. See, I can play this game without nut shots, guys. I can. You just gotta use them haymakers. See, I'll go ahead and play this knockout cam, just because it's the final fight, and this is really the best part of the game, is watching the knockout cam. Again, this knockout cam was just next level when it came out. When the Xbox 360 launched, like, that was all the hype, was the knockout cam. And the waves that you see in the cheeks when they get knocked out, and the spit in the blood coming out of their mouth. It was so realistic at the time.
He's just a well-rounded boxer. Good speed.
It still looks good. Surprisingly, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like still think the graphics were legit going back to it, but even coming back to it and playing it on an Xbox 360, I mean, these graphics were really impressive for being a launch title on the Xbox 360. Alright, these haymakers. Again, the downside to throwing this one-shot phase or phaser, where you can phase them in one punch, the downside is it really leaves you open for a counter if they block it. So, like, you know I'm not throwing a bunch of fast punches. Like, I could jab him, but trying to get the big punch.
Bang, and he stumbles back from a skillful haymaker off a counter move. He lands a brutal uppercut, then two more solid shots for good measure. He's going to be looking for another knockout to prove once and for all he's the best fighter. The Beast won't last long if he continues to eat combos like that.
Alright, I might have to resort to knees.
That sends him reeling back.
He's blocking my one puncher.
Wow, he's off balance now.
I'll give it one more shot.
Counter haymaker surprised him. Oh, he's in a world of trouble now. You can see the hurt in his eyes, and his body looks like it's about ready to completely give out on him for the beast. As these two men do so for the third time.
We're going for the knees. He's probably going to knock me out one time.
And he falls
it's all good.
Hard. With that punch, he becomes
It's what I get. Trying to be too cocky. I'm just going to use the method. I'm just going to throw the illegal blows. At least I got one legit.
Body shot lands, looking to set up the harder stuff up top.
Let's get this final achievement and hit this 500,000 gamer score.
These last 10 seconds.
All right, now he wants to back up a bunch.
On that one. Truly, that round was exactly what his corner wanted to see.
All right, round ended. See, that's where this completion can get a lot lengthier than, you know, the 3 hours that you can complete it in with the illegal shots. Is if you try to actually box and, you know, get the haymakers and use your fists, then it's going to be a longer completion. You can really cruise through this by simply just kneeing them or elbowing them over and over again.
It's not good for either fighter, and it's going to anger many fans. Nice two-punch combination lands with authority. Good quick combination.
There we go. See, the knee, it doesn't work that well when they back up a lot, so you kind of got to get them in a corner or against the ropes before you can hit them with a bunch of knees in a row. But it will cool down their health meter fairly quick if you can start landing a bunch of their knees. And even when your stamina's all the way down, you can still keep throwing the knees, but it's going to lower your overall stamina, which could be a huge downside in the course of a longer fight. Alright, I think that's the second time we knocked him out. We knocked him out once legit with our fists, and then once with a knee to the nuts. So, 2 knockouts. Again, we have the 3 knockout rule on. So, yeah, he got up. We're going to need to knock him out a third time. Let's see if we can hit him with the haymaker real quick. Come on, bruh.
A jab, then a cross finds its home.
Nah, too slow. Alright. We're just going to do the knee.
Is great for your opponent to counter with, but if he doesn't lean with those punches well enough, you can tag him.
Again, keep an eye out for an episode of Classic Completions for this game. I'll be uploading an episode, and it's basically going to be an achievement guide for this game, / an episode of Classic Completions. Basically just talking about Fight Night Round 3, also the method to get the 1000 G in about 3 hours. Just keep in mind, you can only play it on the Xbox 360. They do have a digital version up for sale, I think. Otherwise, you would need to find the disc copy and put it in your 360. But all of the achievements in this game are related to the campaign or story, so all you need to do is simply make your way through the story mode, and you'll unlock all of the achievements. Keep in mind, a few of them are missable only if you lose the fight. So if you get to a fight that has an achievement related to it, just make sure that you don't lose that fight. Because if you do, you would have to basically turn off your Xbox before it autosaves, or have autosave off and manually save. But there we go, guys. 100 gamer score Everlast achievement. We officially have the full 1000 gamer score in Fight Night Round 3. But on top of that, we have the glorious 500,000 G. Yeah. Oh, I'm trying to point at it. Where is it at? Where's it at? Up there. Up there. 500,000 G. Hell yeah, guys. I really appreciate all of your support since the beginning. I've had my channel for about 2 years. I started up this new profile, Cheevo Guides, when I started up the channel. And to hit 500,000 gamer score in roughly 2 years is pretty cool. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed all the guides along the way. Cheers to the next 500,000. I'll probably do a live stream like this every 100K, so maybe I'll do another one at 600,000 gamer score. But other than that, we hit 500,000 on the dot. 500,000. Again, we did it with a classic Xbox 360 game. We did it with Fight Night Round 3, an Xbox 360 launch title. Again, I highly recommend going back and getting the 1000G in this game if you haven't yet. Just keep in mind it's not backwards compatible. You'll need an Xbox 360 to do so, but the game is very easy. All you gotta do is spend about 3 to 4 hours with it. Aside from that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed another episode of Classic Completions. Next episode, episode 10, is going to be about an Xbox Live arcade game. Specifically, it's going to be about Frogger. So make sure you guys tune in for episode 10 of Classic Completions. Hopefully, it'll be up in the next week. Also, let me know, what did you guys think of the brand new Classic Completions intro, as well as the Classic Completions green screen setup. Aside from that, as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe. Other than that, I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of my Patreon subscribers. We just hit 16 patrons. I'd like to give a special shout out to everybody in the biggest fan club, including Tim G84, AOJ, Kegger101, Kana25, Michael Banksa, and Cursed Souls. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe.